And just like that, we're now working round number 3 of the 2025 Area Cup Series here for another round. We went from Daytona to Homestead, now in the Magic Mile of New Hampshire. We welcome all that are hanging out with us on this beautiful Monday evening. I'm John Ramos. Hunter Sleppy will be on pit road. Let's bring it to our studios here in Nashville, Tennessee to run down what we've seen, what we're expecting seeing tonight, and everything that will be coming forward. Hunter, we got a lot of great things going on. We got a lot of exciting things going on, but let's start with some news here. Every time we go racing, I feel like there's always a curveball. I know these stick and ball references, you can't be using them, but we got another big one here tonight. Trading paints having issues on iRacing, so the paint schemes may not be lining up to what you are used to. At the same time, a lot of drivers have been talking about this track, talking about the setup, talking about how it's racing, and they all seem to be in a big agreement, at least from what I heard from 609, from Solar Flare. Struggle bus, challenging, and in some cases not really well liked by drivers, which in theory, Hunter, from what we've heard and seen, it could be a really good thing or it could be a not good thing. From what I've seen before, I think when the drivers complain a little bit more, it gives us that action live on TV, but everyone else has to fight lap after lap, and for 150 laps, it's going to be a big time watch here on this Monday evening.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Area's been here once before with all 3 series back in Season 3, and if you like Wreckfest, then tonight might be the night for you, because we have 13 yellows back in Season 3. We had a late move with 2 laps to go. We had an overtime restart. In the end, it was David Weishart taking the victory. He started all the way back in 35th and was able to get the job done. But looking through, David Weishart himself actually said that he doesn't like the setup. It's too loose, especially he thinks that turn 2 is going to be the issue for these guys tonight, that little transition when you're going low to high. He said it himself where it's like all 4 tires just want to slide the other direction. So it's going to be a handful for these guys tonight. And yeah, we've been in store for some great racing here. The first 2 weeks of Area, Daytona 500, won by Bailey Turner in a 1/1000th of a second photo finish over teammate Jeremy Miller. And then last week at Homestead, John Hall made the move with 6 laps to go, coming through, getting the job done. That's the thing. The average starting spot's been around 12th or so. Last week it was Bailey Turner. It was John Hall started 4th that got the win, but he only led 6 laps in that one. And Bailey Turner, we know how much of a wild card Daytona is. He only led 3 laps in that one. So first couple of weeks, you don't need to lead the most laps, but you need to be in the right place at the right time. And it seems like with the previous history of this track, it seems like that'll be the trend going into this race.
I think we're going to see a wild card race without a shadow of the doubt tonight, but we're going to see drivers, I want to say dominating, but definitely setting the tone. It's wild how this season has already started off almost in a way that is underdog heavy. You just mentioned it. Turner going to victory lane. Turner isn't known as a driver that will be up inside the top 5 week in and week out. John Hall coming up from the Trucks here. He's going to Homestead, and in the closing laps finds his way to victory lane. New Hampshire, you expect it to be where, hey, the fastest in practice will most likely do well in qualifying. And if they do well in qualifying, they will most likely be up inside the top 5 all race. But you mentioned it, and we asked the viewers down in the chat below, will we see more cautions tonight than we've seen at Homestead? 13 yellows the last time Area came to New Hampshire. Homestead, it didn't break that at all. So it's going to be interesting, and things could change, right? Because heading into the Area 500, Hunter, if I'm not mistaken, we expected some yellows. We even expected a late race restart. That's the one that went caution free. And then lap 1, off turn 2, down the backstretch, we see the first caution of the 2025 season at Homestead.
Yeah, I feel like this race will be a curveball. It's a mile. They call it the Magic Mile, so got kind of a short track feel with the super speedway characteristics with the way this drafting works on the backstretch and front stretch. Looking through some guys who could possibly break through for their first win this season. I mean, Dylan Nault, he's had great runs this season, finished top 10 in both races. Same with Adam Cabot from 609 Motorsports. You got Seth Knoll, of course, as well in there. Scioli's finished inside the top 10 in both races. Only a handful of guys have finished top 10 in each of the 2 races of the season. That was John Hall, who went to victory lane last week at Homestead, Dylan Knoll, Adam Cabot, and James Scioli. Could be any one of those guys. Still looking for that Jake Nichols break where he'll come through and win. Scioli was very close his last time out. He finished second, I believe, in season 3. He had the lead for the most part until the last, I shouldn't say last lap, because they were coming to the white flag, and then the yellow came out, and David Weishart was in front, and then that's what gave him the win on the overtime restart. He had the jump, so being the leader is going to be key on those late race restarts, and just got to make it to the end to have a shot.
Just got to make it to the end to have a shot. We love it. We're minutes away from heading into qualifying, so let's go ahead and talk about what we've heard from drivers. Earlier before going live with this stream, I had to go ahead and ask some things. Talk to Powerhouse, talk to 609, Solid Rock, and Solar Flare. Mentioned it earlier. They all basically have the same answer. This is going to be a challenging race. Matter of fact, the person that actually talked about how challenging it will be, that of Jake Matheson when talking to Solid Rock guys. Powerhouse, Pierce said it was going to be really loose, and then talked to Polimas where he said, watch every line because we're not really sure what line is going to be the best by the time the race comes in, the track state rules, and some have even mentioned that the apron could be a utilized spot at a given point during the race, let alone a restart. So we're going to see, I think, a great race tonight. These drivers are going to be really on their heels. And from what I'm hearing, we do have a great car count heading into this running. If I'm not mistaken, it may be already at 43. But the big thing tonight is going to be the cautions. Can we get the green flag runs where we could see pit strategy? Could we see comers and goers? We got to see that in a way at Homestead. We got to see it for sure at Daytona. But tonight, I think everyone has that question mark heading in. And for Hunter, it's really about, will it happen? What's your opinion on that? And will we see a lot of green flag runs?
Well, unlike the real-life race last summer, there won't be any rain in the forecast, so we won't have to worry about putting on wet tires and going on different strategies there. But I think it's all going to be about car control and managing your tires, kind of like what we saw yesterday in the Cup race at Homestead. Got to manage the tires. Tire wear is going to be a big concern, although that's different. It's a mile and a half. This one's a mile in length. But if we get any long runs, expect to see some guys go from running around 15th or 20th all the way inside the top 10, and then those that are pushing the envelope a little bit too soon to start fading away. And then I'm looking through here right now, and if all 4 of these guys make it into the race, and I'm pretty sure they're all here, I could be mistaken, but they have EOLs for tonight, so they will drop to the rear of the field. That's Philip Groner, Bailey Turner, Peyton Howell, and Lee Norton. So if they qualify 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not going to matter. They'll have to drop to the rear of the field. And we saw that happen Thursday night in the Pro Series race. There were 2 drivers who had EOLs. One of them started inside the top 6, and it took him all race to fight his way through for a top 10 finish. So got to be mindful of qualifying and just make sure you don't get into any calamity. Otherwise, you do get penalty points, and they do add up to those EOLs, which will send you to the rear of the field for the Cup race. Just
look back at the schedule once again. We will be back next week. That will be Indianapolis. And while looking through the schedule, you look at all 12 races. Hunter, there's only one track, I would say, okay, yeah, let me give it the benefit of the doubt. There's 4 tracks that could be eerily similar, and I mean barely similar at that. Coda with Watkins Glen, just both those being road courses, even though they're completely different styles of treacherous turns and all the running at that. North Wilkesboro, unique compared to all the other tracks. I look at Chicagoland, I look at Kansas, 2 intermediates where you say, okay, could be eerily similar because they're both mile and a halves. And that leaves 8 tracks completely different from each other just within the regular season alone before heading into the championship. We already saw 2 different winners. We could see a brand new winner tonight. I think you, the viewers, should answer that question. Do we go 3 for 3 on winners in 2025, or does one of the 2 that have already found victory lane go ahead and take that mantle? Hunter, opinions? Who do you think goes to victory lane?
I feel like we'll have one of the regular area drivers, in my opinion, that come through. Like, you can't count out Jake Nichols. You can't count out James Scioli. Seth Knoll has a pretty good chance tonight. Ryan Swan himself, he said that 20 car is going to be one to watch out for, and then he realized that the lap he ran was a second slower than the fastest time. So if you like underdogs, go for the 20 of Ryan Swan. Also, I mentioned him earlier tonight, Dylan Alt. He's got 2 top 10s in both Cup races. Pretty solid there for the Solid Rock Performance guys. So it wouldn't be surprising if he's in a good shot to win late in the going. Adam Cabot as well, he's pretty high in points. And despite the EOL, Peyton Howell put himself in a good spot last week at Homestead for a solid finish. Wouldn't be shocking if he goes to victory lane as well.
All right, going to be fun to see. 3 minutes left, a single car qualifying. To everyone that's hanging out with us, we say hello and welcome. You're watching the Area Cup Series live on the IDK Player YouTube channel. Dylan Alt going top of the board provisionally with less than 3 minutes remaining. If you're wondering why Dylan Alt's 47 didn't have a paint scheme on last week, he just recently told me there was an issue with his trading paints. He couldn't get it to work, and that's why that was the case. Well, I guess it must have started a plague, because nobody on iRacing currently is having their trading paints work, and if it is maybe just less than 1% of any of the active users. So bear with us. The paint scheme is going to look a little bit different. Some of these drivers try to match their color of the original iRacing car with the colors that they usually run with. Connor Okrezik in 14 has yet to lay down a time. Now he does. He jumps up to third. Just around 2 minutes remaining. For the new viewers, you're starting to recognize the same names up towards the front. Scioli, Alt, Beckner, Groner, Scott, Konsman Yonashinu. He's on the track. 21st. Some have yet to make a time. Seth Knoll, Tyler Nichols just comes around the stripe. 28th driver to put down a time. He goes into 25th. And a Sogak in 88 comes across the line as well. Where does he line on up? We're going to try in or out 24th, 25th. For the NR Night in America viewers, yes, we are live tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. And a week from tomorrow, the 28th e-ticket event, the Southern 500. All marketing strategies will be working into getting that event ready starting tomorrow. We'll have 43 drivers from the looks of it, maybe 40 that'll be taking the green flag for the Southern 500. And next week, a week from today, Area Cup Series at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All eyes currently on New Hampshire. We're going to get the opportunity to speak with different drivers. You know, I'm looking at the 609 guys. I'm not exactly sure if that's who I want to really chat with yet. I'm really feeling Kwame Scott with Berg, because where's Scott? He's in 7th, and he's been on this channel before. Scott, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Talk to some teams. I want to hear it from your standpoint. Loose, challenging, different lines they may work in. What's your opinion on this car track combo? Less than 30 minutes, or should I say 30 seconds from gridding up.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be loose. Just got to watch, keep your right rear intact, keep that cool, because it seems like this track only uses up right rear. So, I mean, as long as you're able to keep the right rear on it and not drift coming out the corners, it should have some speed. So, hopefully I can figure that out.
First 2 races have been the exact opposites from each other. You expect the cautions at Daytona, went caution free. You expected less issues at Homestead, and they start stacking them up one after another. How do you prepare for New Hampshire, knowing that this race previously, it didn't even run last season, had 13 cautions and an overtime finish? Are you expecting there to be long green flag runs, maybe a pit strategy in hand?
I mean, I would hope so, but realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. I think track position is going to be pretty important, because there's going to be just as many cautions. So I mean, 7th is not bad. My lap was a little conservative, but yeah, it's probably going to be a caution fest. But we'll see.
So, and with that being said, and now with you thinking that, how do you get that track position? How do you take the opportunities? Obviously, if there's going to be cautions, there's going to be restarts. Do you get bold? Do you play conservative?
I mean, honestly, I'm probably just going to try to get whatever I can at the start of these races, or at the start of these restarts. So, and hopefully not crash. So, I think, yeah, that's the only way you're going to pass, really.
All right, Kwame Scott racing and rolling with us. A big win, possibly in the future, maybe even this afternoon. Connor Horns on the Speedway. Hunter Sleppy will be hanging out with us on pit road. Hunter, anything that you heard from the drivers leading into this race?
Just that the setup is completely backwards as far as what the handling should be. So guys are going to have a handful no matter where they are on the racetrack. Should be interesting noting that some guys were arcing the corner. Travis Beckner was noting how John Hall was doing so, I believe, in turns 3 and 4. It's kind of a weird racetrack. You don't really want to run all the way on the bottom, although if you do have good momentum, good opportunity to send a dive bomb in there, wouldn't be too bad for the driver, whoever that may be, to do so. Yeah, just a lot of guys complaining about the setup. It's going to be different, going to be challenging. Guys just really trying to get into the rhythm of it. I spoke with David Weishart before this session began, the previous winter, back in season 3, and he mentioned that there really wasn't much different to it. The only thing different is just the graphics of it, where trees are or where grandstands are or used to be. Nothing really changed as far as the racetrack itself. So different opinions on that, but for the most part, guys are just trying to find the perfect balance between loose and tight.
Finding the balance between loose and tight. We're going to keep that in mind. And here's a question for the viewers down the chat below as the warm-ups go on down. Every time we have an NR9 and e-ticket event, I always throw some trivia question out. Whether it's about the YouTube channel, whether it's about the racing action. And you know what? I like this question right here. We all know area is pretty Florida-based. We got sponsors from Florida Tracks, presenting sponsors of the Area Cup Series. I say that, and I'm going to ask this question, and from what I just mentioned is the hint. Why do they call it the Magic Mile? I'll give you that answer at some point during the race. I think most Floridians should understand that one, and we're going to leave it just at that. Evans, Knoll, Horn quick time in the warm-up, and it's going to be a challenging race. We're going to keep using that word throughout the broadcast because even early on, we're starting to see drivers trying to just figure out lines here in warm-up. Just about a minute and a half remaining. Hunter, anything new that we can look forward to before the green flag or at the checkered flag here with the Area Cup Series? Maybe anything with the National Tour or even the trucks?
Yeah, I'll say as far as the scheduling for area, this is different than what we're used to. You mentioned the diversity of it. We started out at Daytona, then we went to Homestead, New Hampshire. You mentioned Watkins Glen as well. 3 of the first 5 races, including tonight at New Hampshire, were tracks that the series hadn't been to in quite some time. Homestead, that was back in season 5 of when they last ran. Mentioned New Hampshire tonight. Back in season 3 was the last time they ran. And Watkins Glen, I can double check, but I'm pretty sure the last time we ran there was back in season 4. Indianapolis, we've ran there the past couple of seasons, so some guys might have a better handling of that racetrack itself. North Wilkesboro, I believe, last season was the first one for the Cup Series. Martinsville, haven't been there in a while, kind of because it's been a wreck fest, so hopefully that doesn't play too much of a factor. And then Coda, haven't been there since season 4 as well.
All right. Interesting. Anything updated on the points and anyone we should look out for?
Points-wise, I'm not sure. We do have one car that's going home. We don't know who that is yet, but the admin tower is getting that situated. As far as point standings, last week Logan Clampa was the biggest mover points-wise. He jumped up 24 positions, up to 16th after his top 10 result, or top 5 result, I should say, from Homestead. Some other notables who jumped up big time. Jake Nichols jumped up to 8th in points, plus 13 from the previous week at Daytona. Josh Cottle, 9th in points. Michael Curran, plus 11, plus 14 for Patrick Moose in the point standings. And then Bailey Turner, after his Daytona win, he dropped all the way down to 15th in the standings after Homestead. So some guys looking for some bounce back races like Barrett Polimas, and then Jonathan Evans, Brandon Bowie as well. Those guys losing 9 to 10 points positions after Homestead.
Area is growing a great presence here on the YouTube channel. Viewers starting to pick out their favorite drivers ahead of the playoffs, and we are so glad to be here for 150 laps of action. Let's get ready to rock and roll, and we'll be ready to roll with you. But yes, the great question of the evening: why do they call it the Magic Mile? As the viewers file on in, hopefully you guys figure it out. I'm looking at the live chat to see if anyone can go ahead and grab it. Chevrolet, Toyota on the front row. We do have some penalties, at least confirm, that we would like to go ahead and point out. If I'm not mistaken, we do have some drivers going to the rear due to incidents at Homestead Miami Speedway. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Bailey Turner is one of them.
Bailey Turner is one of them. The others are Philip Groner, Peyton Howell, and Lee Norton as well.
All right, great things ahead. You're watching the Area Cup Series live on the IDK Player YouTube channel. Wouldn't be able to do it without our sponsors. So glad that all you viewers are hanging out with us. The great teams that have joined on in, help promote this live stream. We've talked non-stop about the fun action ahead, but how about the action that you can find in person? Check out Hendry County Motorsports Park. Racing is back at Hendry County Motorsports Park. You can join them. How about Saturday, March 29th, to see Thunder Trucks, Street Stocks, and more? Tickets are only $20 for the adults, and kids ages 5 and under get in free. Bring the family to the track without family, should I say bring the family to the track with the family pack of 4 for $25. Come see racing at the southernmost dirt track in America. Once again, HendryRacing.com. You go ahead and check that out for more information. Hendry County Motorsports Park. 150 laps, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of the night where they grid up, they roll on out, and we get to see who is starting where. Let's take a peek at that starting lineup for round number 3 here at the Area Cup Series, live from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Row number 1, Dylan Hull and James Scioli. They've been up front all season long in their early runnings. They will do the same in round number 3. Connor Okresik with a great starting spot to the inside of row number 2. Travis Beckner to his outside. Jake Nichols and Philip Groner line up in row number 3. Row 4, Kwame Scott finally got that thing off his back, and here he is running up front with Jonathan Evans. Row number 5, John Hall and Seth Knoll join the fray. Row number 6, Josh Connell and Jeremy Miller line up and roll out. Bailey Turner, who's heading to the rear with Connor Horn to his right wing. Ricky Springer with Brandon Bowie. Row number 9, Adam Cabot and Blaze McKinney. Row number 10, Sam Brochu and Lee Norton. Row 11, Max Service and Garrett Grant. Row 12, Seth Berger and Edward Shearer. Row 13, Patrick Moose and Cosmin Yonashinu. Row 14, Justin Anasogak and Brett Bunkari line up with Hayden Swink and Tyler Nichols. Bryce Senesac, Ben Pierce, and we'll go through the rest of the running order at the bottom of your screen. The one to go has been displayed as we get ready to ride here from New Hampshire. The Magic Mile has brought some magic in the past, but not as of recent with the Area Cup Series. Track back on the schedule for 2025. The atmosphere as electric as ever. Trading pains may not be working, but the sights and sounds will be loud and on display for 150 laps. It's League Night in America. The first 2 races of the Area Cup Series has brought the action. You expect the same from the Magic Mile. Let's light the fuse from New Hampshire. Already seeing 3 wide in the apron being used. That was John Hall. Now toe-to-toe with Jeremy Miller up front, Alt Scioli. It was a duel, but Dylan Alt will get the run off turn 4 to come back to the line. He leads lap 1. Jonathan Evans, Jake Nichols, Seth Knoll, Kwame Scott, Miller, Hall, 3 wide again, down into 1 and 2. This, I believe, being Ricky Springer. No, check that. That's the 87 of Blaze McKinney. And we've already seen, if you use that apron on entry, you're going to make up a lot of ground, but off exit, not what many are wanting to see or wanting to see with at least a push. Bowie stuck just about 3 wide. He's got Springer and company around. There's Connor Horn at 11th. Traffic jam on this flat 1 mile oval. Scioli in second, Okrezik in third, Beckner in fourth, Jonathan Evans there in P5. And takes a nice swing to the inside. Nichols way up, and the caution is going to weigh for the first time for an incident deeper in the field. And a Sogak, Norton, Swan. Not seeing too much damage, but we know it did happen deeper on in this pack, and right off the gun, we get the caution flag. Let's take a look at the replay. It was mentioned that the apron would be used at some point during the race. Single car spin down to the inside. I believe that was the 09, if we did catch that. Yes, it was Bryce Senesac. How about this? Check another view. Ooh, just got help from the driver behind him. And that being the 01 of Jake Matheson. It was almost like there was a checkup coming off turn 2, and Matheson just did not roll out of the gas. And the lazy spin will bring the caution out for the first time. Dylan Alt looked like he was checking out. Was able to run away. Scioli, Okrezik, Beckner, Evans. That is the top 5 early in this race. We have already seen a little bit of passing to the center of the field, but the top 3, top 4 mainly staying the same. Hunter, any talk on the radio?
I was in the Solid Rock channel when the spin occurred, and Jake Matheson is an open car, so he can go to any channel that he pleases to. I just so happened to be there. He apologized immediately. He didn't check up in time, and then Bryce said, no harm, no foul. I didn't hit anything. And then just more complaining from David Weishart about the handling of the race car and how he wasn't paying attention on the track and got into the back of Ben Pierce. No harm, no foul there. Just some guys getting some early kinks out in the opening laps of New Hampshire. All right, great things to know. So, quickie caution. We'll be back racing in a matter of moments. Alt, Scioli, Okrezik, Beckner, that's the top 4. We saw Scott holding on to the 6th position. Miller, Cottle, you see the Lucky Duck drivers trying to form on in. It was pretty interesting. I went back to read the live chat of that last stream, and there was a point, multiple points during the race, we couldn't find a single blue oval up inside the top 20. The next day we do an Enter Night in America, and it is flooded full of Fords. And everyone's like, where's the Fords? Where are they up front? And Jim Cottle this year, or should I say in this race, making a stand, putting the blue ovals up inside the top 10. Lucky Duck trying to find their first win of 2025. Alt, Scioli, Okrezik, Beckner back underway from the Magic Mile. Finding the middle groove goes the 14, a little loose off exit. That's going to be a standpoint, a talking point, handling throughout this race. Riding on board with the 26, Jonathan Evans. Just reaching for the back bumper. Springer may have caught the wall. John Hall having to check up. Traffic jam for Hoddle. Three wide. Evans all the way down on the apron. I just haven't seen that apron work well. I know we're just a couple laps in. Caution.
out for a second time, and it's for an incident between Lee Norton and maybe Ford Martin. So a quick stumble out of the gate here in round 3 at the Magic Mile. Ford Martin, an open driver, was bumped out of Daytona and Homestead Miami Speedway. His first start of 2025. Let's watch back. Oh, lazy spin. And for a moment, it looked like he was not going to be able to hold on to the brakes, but was able to at the last moment before Lee Norton got to him, and the caution will come out. We're going to talk about cautions in just a matter of moments. Let's watch again. This is Martin in 07. They washed up the track, and when they gassed it back down, the rear end just came around. Pit road is wide open. Cautions, why do they seem a little bit different than what we have in NR Night in America? There is a full-on team of officials up in a tower, and they're watching on this racetrack. Cautions they usually get thrown differently from one league or one community to the next. So in the league side with area, lazy spins could be deemed a caution. A spin in front of the field could be deemed a caution. And NR Night in America, if it's race 3 and it's working the 10 o'clock hour and we see a 2-3 car spin and it's off the racing surface, we don't deem that a caution. The reason why is because those are hosted sessions. And we've actually had this debate before with even e-tickets. If there is a spin off the racing surface, we will not throw the caution. But that does not officiate the same with other leagues and area. Their version of a caution is different. If a car goes around and there's anyone oncoming in traffic that may have to slow up because of it, they will display the yellow. If it is a lazy spin, they'll do 1 or 2 laps, go back, green flag racing. Just a quick note for all the NR Night in America viewers back below that are just getting their toes dipped in for the first time into league racing. All the brand new area fans, diehard area fans have been watching since season 1. We're so glad to have you on this Monday evening, yet in the sim. Beautiful Monday afternoon. Dylan Alt has led every single lap up to this point, but just within the first 10 laps, we have had 2 cautions. Could this be a trend throughout the race, or will something change? Okrezik just yesterday was racing at Five Flag Speedway in the Appalachian Sucker Punch ASA Stars National Tour. Usually they say from sim to reality. In this case, reality back to the sim. Green flag once more from New Hampshire. Seth Knoll had 3 wide being eyed. That by Miller and Horn. Jake Nichols in 73 sees the herd of machines behind him, but 6 up front. He will like to find a way around. Attempts a diamond, can't get the runoff exit, stuck just behind the 2x2 of Kwame Scott. And I believe the 14 downstairs, should I say, Scott in the 26 of Jonathan Evans. Okrezik, Beckner, they're wheel to wheel. Scioli just cannot catch up to doing all. Scott on the apron. Almost had all 4 tires ducked below. Up near the outside wall, multiple drivers, maybe just a little kiss. Remember, the next gen's not that sheet metal that you have with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, now being composite bodies. You look back to 2019, 2018, you get on the wall, you get a tire rub almost immediately. But with the carbon fiber bodies that originally came on with the NASCAR Xfinity Series, become a more beneficiary without tires being popped on the reality side. And iRacing, well, they almost are built like tanks. And we've seen it before. Drivers will hit the wall and do again 30 seconds of optional, come back on the Speedway, all good. We almost call it the Panzer division. And then you'll see times where they'll smack the wall with the right rear, break a toe link, and next thing you know, they're spun sideways and just cannot get it going. 4th, 5th, toe-to-toe, 6th, 7th, look to be toe-to-toe as well. Knoll in 11th, Brochu in 10th. Seth Knoll led so much of the Area 500 in the early portions of the race. When it was all Solar Flare teaming up, trying to make a big run. We asked the question earlier in the show, why did they call it the Magic Mile? We saw so many of you giving out a response, trying to figure out what it was. I believe a couple of you may have gotten it right. So it's called the Magic Mile because, get this, workers, in a case even cast members, Imagineers from Disney World, Walt Disney World down in Florida, went ahead and went up to New Hampshire to help work on this racetrack, help it be built. This was during the Eisner era, if I'm not mistaken, back in the 90s, or in the late 80s at that. And they decided to name it the Magic Mile. It gets a little crazier. New Hampshire was not supposed to be this flat 1 mile oval. There was supposed to, I might have to be fact checked on this one, 12 degrees of banking. But when the trouble! Sideways goes the 98 machine. Sam Brochu stuck backwards in turn 2, and the caution will wave for the first time in the last 4 or 5 laps, 3rd time in this race. And to continue the thought, yes, it was supposed to be a banked 1 mile track, but when the construction workers saw the blueprints, they mistakenly read it wrong, and that's where the flat 1 mile oval came in. We'll go ahead and take a look at the replay. Sam Brochu. Stuck sideways up near the outside wall. He was racing Seth Knoll in 1. Did he get help? I would say so. Knoll drives it deep into turn 1. Brochu can't save it and backs it down near the outside retaining wall. So how about that? A history lesson and a caution all within about 30 seconds of the running of this race with 131 laps to go. Watch back, this time from a different angle. Rewind, John Hall. And Knoll sent it on in. So many great viewers down the chat below, whether longtime viewers, new viewers, or returning viewers. We welcome you to the Area Cup Series tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and our Night in America will return. We still got to get that schedule made. So many of you love the ARCA Series cars being added in. I believe tomorrow we may be, do we do Martinsville? We might have to do Martinsville. Tomorrow will be the last stream of the week. Until next week, we're back with the Area Cup Series on Monday at Indianapolis, followed by an e-ticket event on Tuesday, the 28th e-ticket event, the Southern 500. And guess what the 29th e-ticket event is going to be? The Alabama 500. And there's a sponsor on board. Rumor is a high payout for the winner, or should we say even maybe the top 3. Keep it in the back of the mind, because when Talladega comes, everyone wants to show up and show out. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about it being called the Magic Mile is because, if you guys didn't know, the ones that run Area are based in Florida. The first 2 races of the year happen to be in Florida. And I was looking at this schedule, and I was like, 2 races in Florida. And obviously the history nerd in me said, and the 3rd race, it's not based in Florida, but people that worked on this track came from Florida, and most notably came from a company that has 4 theme parks, 2 water parks. If I'm not mistaken, during construction at the time, 3 theme parks and 1 water park. Interesting indeed. 129 laps to go from New Hampshire with the Area Cup Series. Dylan Alt has led them all. He leads them once more to turn 1. Travis Beckner into Scioli. A bump once, a bump twice. Able to get the run off turn 4. But the fight's on for the 3rd position. Nichols, can he hold on that outside lane? Beckner in 28 downstairs. Trying to get the runoff exit, but has a Toyota to the right wing. Watching on from Jonathan Evans. Chevy, 2 Toyotas, and 1 more bow tie up inside the Fast 4. 3 Toyotas in the top 5. As all continue to try to master what's going on. Let's look deeper in the field. Here's Seth Knoll. I actually spoke with Knoll earlier in the race. I said, or should I say right before the show, talk to him about what's changing. Is there anything new that we can talk to these viewers about? And all Seth Knoll said, you know, yesterday I got wrecked by Caden Rush in an NIS race. And then all of Solar Flare in their Discord chat started erupting in laughter. Caden Rush, an e-ticket winner in NR Night in America. And won the Garage Guys $4.99. Looks like him and Knoll late last Sunday night got into a nice run-in. Caden Rush is not present here with the Area Cup Series. Seth Knoll is back there in 11th. Do keep in mind, incident points will be awarded to drivers that bring out the caution. In this race, we already saw penalties given out to drivers that caused incidents at Homestead, and how that translated to this race. They had a drop to the rear of the field before the green flag. Will that happen with Knoll come Indianapolis? Could be, so keep it all in mind. Jeremy Miller, Josh Cottle. Miller almost daydreamed 3 wide as the run came off exit for the 28. Switch to the bottom. Dragging the right rear off the door of the 26 of Jonathan Evans. Field mostly single filing out. Homestead winner John Hall, a sweep to the bottom, that of Connor Okrezik. Toe-to-toe, 3 wide, Connor Horn. Blaze McKinney washing wide, and we've seen and talked about it before. Everyone's going to try to find a different lane. Track position is going to mean a lot in this race. So where can you find the grip? Where can you find the launch off exit? And with track position being such a main stake in this race, you're starting to see aggression really boil up, and that's why we've already had multiple cautions. Jake Matheson almost got the left sides in the grass. Well below that white line onto the apron. Peyton Howell there in 16th. Brandon Bowie back in 17th. Garrett Grant finds his way into 18th. Jake Nichols finds his way into the 2nd position. As he found his way around Scioli. Scioli now has Beckner in the 4th place spot. Evans has Cottle. Cottle, the highest running Ford in this race. The Lucky Duck has yet to find victory lane this year. The first 2 races going to underdogs, and we started questioning if this was going to be the year of the underdogs. Is this going to be the year of the drivers that don't usually get that spotlight, finding victory lane, at least in the opening laps here at New Hampshire? Doesn't seem to be that way. Dylan Alt, a veteran. Nichols, a veteran. Scioli, a veteran. Beckner, Evans, Cottle has been known for running in the Area Cup Series. Oh, Evans had a get out of my way moment by Josh Cottle. And Cottle will quickly find his way just to the next position. Rami Scott in 7th. Jeremy Miller in 8th. And what an opening season here for John Hall. Winning just last week, running up inside the top 10. Single file it is from about first all the way back to maybe the 19th position. So you see toe-to-toe once more. Matthew Bell on the outside. Philip Groner hugging that middle lane in 8. Just behind them, it's the 17 machine. Adam Cabot, Barroso, Edward Shear. Watching onto the scene, caution is out again. And this for Ben Pierce. Heavy damage to the right side of his 65. Unfortunately, not what they wanted to see, at least for the alt team. Some drivers hoping that it would have gone at least a little bit longer to get the green flag run, to maybe open up some pit strategy. Pierce running relatively towards the tail end of this main group. I was going to question if maybe he got to the outside of someone, but no, it looks like he just got loose off turn number 2. Went for a full 360 in front of oncoming traffic, and that is what sparked yet the 4th caution of this race. Pit road, it's wide open. Sleppy, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so over that run, Jeremy Miller was really ticked off at Jonathan Evans, talking about him being pinched being pinched on the bottom line, saying that just because I'm pinched down here doesn't mean I have to run the apron. So he was a little bit ticked off at the way Evans was racing him. Throughout that run, Ed Sheeran Jr. also expressed interest about running the 4th and 5th line throughout the turns, trying to generate some sort of momentum. And then as far as that most recent yellow, Ben Pierce said he just lost it on his own, overcorrected, and that's what created yellow. Now they're looking at damage on his car, looking like it's right rear damage, so not sure if it's going to be a mandatory repair job or if it's just optional for that 65 machine.
All right, good to know. Now let's go ahead and talk with some drivers and hear what they've got to say. Is there any way we can find Cottle? I think we can. The highest running Ford, running with Lucky Duck. Cottle, John Ramos, you got a copy? All right, hey, I just mentioned it to the viewers, saying it to you. The only blue oval up inside the top 4, top 5. Lucky Duck, big supporter of the IDK Player YouTube channel. You looking to see if they can get their first win in the 2025 season. What is it going to take to come from a track like this?
Oh man, I feel really comfortable right now. We got a fast car. Thank you to Lucky Duck. Right now, it's just about tire saving. I gotta make sure I don't burn my right rear off this thing because it's loose. I don't know if you can tell, but you go in the corner sliding.
All right, track position. It's been at least a mainstay early on. How do you break that barrier, find the turbulent air, and get that nose underneath another driver?
It's just about getting that good corner exit.
Good to know. Cottle restarting on the outside of row number 2. You can hear them fire as they roll their way back across the stripe. Restart from New Hampshire. Scott P5, Evans P6. Rush hour from the apron up to maybe lane 2 or even lane 3. Trouble off turn number 4. Multi-car incident. Ryan Swan involved and a Sogak. I believe also Garrett Granite 5 involved. Yes, he is. And for the 5th time in this race under the yellow with 114 laps remaining. Ford Martin, heavy damage on the right front. Lee Norton with the right rear slightly elevated. Brett Puncari got a piece of it. Tyler Nichols got a piece of it. Do we call it the big one at New Hampshire? As it did happen just outside that top 25. Watch back. Four wide. I don't think it's going to work coming off exit, and it didn't. You saw the 5 make contact with Brochu in 98. Grant goes into the outside wall, and there goes the 20 machine from the outside wall to the inside. Ryan Swan has a great looking car with the Rick's hot sauce. Unfortunately, not able to see it today as Trading Paints is down. But a hefty lick to the right front of that machine. Watch again. The Rick's hot sauce, number 20. It's going to get a heck of a kick. And nothing that could have been updated or shown with passion after that. All Nichols, Scioli, the new top 3, and we're going to see who could possibly be out of this race. Look at the amount of machines on pit road, and a Sogak from 36, Grant to 35th. Nichols and Bell will just get onto the racetrack once more. Everyone else just trying to beat that pace car out. Sleppy, it happened pretty quickly.
Happened so quick I didn't even realize what had just happened. Garrett Grant said that he locked it up and he just kept plowing, and it wouldn't turn out. So that was the reason for the yellow there. He's coming back on the racetrack right now. Some damage on that automobile. As for the rest, I'm not sure, but he was running decently. He was running inside the top 20, close to that 15th position when that can happen. So unfortunate there for him to have damage, but cautions, breeding cautions here at Loudon seems to be the theme so far.
It seems to be a pretty big theme. Already 5 yellows. Now sticks on the board for 111 laps to go. Is this mirroring what you saw a couple seasons ago?
Pretty much. We did have a stretch of green flag racing. That wasn't towards about it was around the halfway, closer to the end of the race. So I feel like once we get some more laps in, it'll phase itself out.
Going to be fun to see. We're going to be listening in to Jake Nichols to hear when he fires into the restart zone. He's got Alt to the bottom. Missed the mark. Alt gets well away as we're back under green. Oh, Seth Knowles sideways off turn 2. Gets it gathered up, we stay green. 3 wide, 4 wide, Peyton Howell. The look to the apron again. Blaze McKinney and others watching, and a slide off turn number 2, and a back down for the 28, Travis Beckner. Yonashinu getting into it. Jonathan Evans, caution out, 6th time. Oh, Yonashinu came back up the track and slammed driver's side, or should I say the left front, into Ford Martin. I don't think Martin's too pleased. He gives a nice tap back driver's side of Cosmin Yonashinu's Toyota. Caution out once again. Let's watch the replay. We saw it was happening up front between the 28 and the 26. And Then we saw Cabot in 17 get into Yoshino. Ford Martin, who is towards the back, mainly just trying to make laps. Yikes. Not a four-way stop, and I think Yoshino may have been confused on that. As Ford Martin nowhere to go as a 71 pulled out in front of him. Let's watch back again on the 71 machine. You see Cabot coming down, I believe originally was trying to get the car gathered back up after the reaction to what was going on just ahead of him. Jonathan Evans in 26, Beckner in 28, you see it there. Seth Noel gets sideways. They talked about how loose this car is, how the setup was. You saw Seth Noel go for a lazy spin off turn number 2. Beckner's car did not stick to turns 3 and 4. It opened up nearly 4 wide. Watch here down into turn 1. Just a tap. And then Cabot getting loose. Caution after caution after caution. Still with 106 laps to go, and that's one thing we've seen in area this year. A difference in every single race. We had a deal of cautions, it felt like. From race number 2, no cautions in race number 1, and now here in race number 3 at New Hampshire, a good bit at that. So we're going to try it all again. Alt, Nichols, Cottle, and Scott lined up with you. Scioli, Miller, and others will find their way back to the restart zone. 105 laps to go. Miller, Scioli. Make something work on the outside. Nichols, Cottle underneath. Josh Cottle's 4, trying to roll center. Kwame Scott thought about throwing the needle, jumps back to the outside. Three wide a peak. Scott under Cottle. Nichols to the far side, tries the long way around. This behind Dylan Alt's 47. Josh Cottle a lunge. Jake Nichols tries to roll center for the launch off exit. Scioli with company. Kwame Scott, who is just fighting for the second position, now back to 5th, has lost position to the number 7 as we still watch on the fight for the second position. Cottle's able to clear. Nichols goes to 3rd. And the field is able to single file out. So actually, should we say about 7th or 8th, here's Miller and Matheson. John Hall in 9th, Payne Howell in 10th. Ricky Springer, his 51 machine, inches off the outside safer barrier. Josh Cottle, a man on the move. He is, for the first time tonight, a driver in 2nd, closing in on the Dylan Alt 47. Look at the lap for lap. Fighting positions for 47, 48, 49. And finally, when he just got clear, you can see the difference. Lap 50 for what's on your screen, left side, should I say, of the live timing scoring on the tower. Was rolling the 1 and 2, might draw even back to the line. Nonetheless, still a big difference from what's been going on for most drivers sitting in the catbird position. And it will now be 99 laps to go. Josh Cottle, not to be confused with NRNI e-ticket driver Jim Cottle. Matheson inching his way through the field. He's now going to challenge that of Connor Horn. Trying to find the long way around. There's Cottle's machine. There's Dylan Alt just dead ahead of him. Caution. Now for the 7th time, and it's for a spin off turn number 2. Edward Shear. Heavy right side damage, and it'll stack him up once more. And this time now less than 100 laps remaining. For all the NR Night in America viewers, yes, tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, we are back with NR Night in America, the final stream of the week till next Monday. The Area Cup Series returns. This at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The day after that, the following event will be the Southern 500. That's right, the Southern 500, the 28th e-ticket event. 500 miles on a Tuesday night. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a blast. Next week is Area at a great track. Nonetheless, we love Indy with the next gen, with the Gen 6, a throwback race, an e-ticket coming on up. 28th e-ticket before the 29th, that being the Alabama 500. Let's take a look. Oh, maybe I have to go a little bit further back on that. The 8 and the 64. Watch Bell. Oh, had nothing to do with it. It was Shear getting loose and coming right up into the machine on the outside, that of Ed Robertson. As he laid to rest outside of the groove, caution out once more. Nowhere for Shear to go in 64. Nowhere for Robertson to go in 64, as Shear sparked the controversy in his number 4 machine. It's been an interesting rundown with all things happening. Let's go ahead and chat with Connor Horn. Horn, John Ramos, got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Back there in the 19th position. Did you come to pit road?
Yes, I did come to pit road. Fuel's going to be somewhat tight. Off chance it goes green, you might be able to make it from here, so I figured I'd do that.
Watching this pattern, what are you expecting the rest of the race?
I mean, I pit just in case we can make it, but it seems like there's at least one crash every 10 laps or so. It's tough. A lot of people struggling with the rears, which I am too, but just gotta hope we can get some green flag running, and I think me and everyone else who pit's in a good spot.
Good to know on that front. One of the 609 guys lined up and rolling out. 94 laps to go when they get to the stripe here from the Magic Mile. You're watching the Area Cup Series live on the IDK Player YouTube channel. Cottle, Scioli, Kwame Scott, and Jake Matheson 2 by 2 by 2, just behind the race leader of the 47. almost peaking 3 wide. Miller in 6th, Hall in 7th, Brochu back to 8th. It's a scrum deeper in the field. 1 spinning off turn number 4. I believe it was Brett Bucari, and it will bring the caution out again. Brett Bucari, and our Night in America driver. And the difference between Enter Night in America and Area, most know usually by caution 2, caution 3, you're going to hear the term relaxed yellows. Relaxed yellows, not a thing in the Area Cup Series. They keep it consistent from the drop of the green flag and how they throw yellows to the checkered flag. You'll see it right here. Mentioned drivers struggling with the rears. Bucari, lazy spin, bringing out yet another yellow. Cotto and all, 1-2. As Lucky Duck is looking for some great things and hopefully a nice run and maybe a return to victory lane. Let's talk to Bucari. Bucari, what happened?
I just freaking lost it. Tricky on exit, and I just bit me, and I kept trying to be careful, but it just bit me, and I'm behind the 8 ball as it is. Now I'm really behind the 8 ball now.
Drivers struggling with the rears. I'm guessing the same is happening for you.
Yeah, I was okay, but I was on the gas too much, and I knew it was tricky on the rears. But yeah, the way I was seeing things going, I don't think we're going to get many green flag runs at all. So, down on my last set of tires now, because I took a gamble early on. That blew up in my face as usual. So, if I run out of tires, I might have to just kind of park it, because I don't want to cause any more carnage, or cause any problems, I should say. But yeah, it's not good.
Alrighty. Continue to keep that note in hand and clear for the viewers back at home. Brett Bucari continuing to watch as things go for him. Now we've had a lot of yellow flags here tonight, unlike what we're used to in the Area Cup Series. Lights off again for Josh Cottle. Another opportunity at a restart, this time to see if he can better that of Dylan All. Scioli there in 3rd, Kwame Scott back to 4th. John Hall back in 6th, Miller, Brochu, Springer, and Turner rounding out the top 10. Rack 'em, stack 'em, try it once more. Pace car makes a hard left onto pit road. Dylan All has led every single lap of this race. Knows 90, should we say now 89, are left to go before he can capture victory lane. Yet everyone else wants to take it away from him. Back to green. Toe-to-toe for 3rd. Fights on for the lead. Cottle ran it in deep. Can he get the launch off exit like he's been able to? That time nearly drawing about even. Josh Cottle trying to get to the quarter panel. And if I'm not mistaken, Dylan All has led the most laps this season so far for the Area Cup Series. On this Monday evening, and should I say late afternoon to the sim, he would like for this time the most laps being led all year to end with him in victory lane. Josh Cottle would like to take that away. Rami Scott He's lurking, 6/10 behind. Scioli in 4th, Matheson in 5th, John Hall in 6th. Jeremy Miller back to 7th. Swank Barroso. A stack up just past the stripe with a 67 of Connor Horn. One sliding off turn 2. Frankie Barroso. And it will bring the caution out again. Caution out on the Speedway single car spin off turn number 2. Barroso into the side of Cabot. And up to Spark, yet another yellow. We asked if there was going to be more cautions here than Homestead. To all the viewers back at home, 85% have said yes, and I believe we have hit that mark. So let's ask a new poll question. For all the ones wondering, will Dylan Alt win? Now, he has led every single lap up to this point. Scott goes to 3rd, Scioli goes to 4th, mostly unchanged. Well, check that, has not led every single lap, just got bested by the line a couple times, but 65 of 67 still, like a good amount going to himself. Scioli did not get that lap led when he was running for the opportunity. Bailey Turner back there in 7th. Jake Nichols in 73, a little bit deeper in the field. You look at Connell, you look at Scott, you look at all these drivers lined in. You wonder who, just who, can maybe go ahead and take someone's run. You got Beckner back in 16th. He was a little bit further up in the field at one point during the race. With 83 laps to go, we will try it again. Cotto on the outside, Alt on the bottom, Scott, Scioli, Hall, and Miller making up the top 8. Should I say the top 6, as the 8 goes Turner and Springer. So we ask you down below, cautions, how they're flown in area, for the opinions of the viewers. Do you like how they throw cautions? Do you like how NR Night in America throws cautions? Do you believe in a relaxed yellow system? Do you not like the relaxed yellow system? All opinions are opened up on that. 82 laps to go from New Hampshire. Connell P2, should we say Kwame Scott P3. On Scioli, 2x2 off exit, 3, 4 wide, everyone trying to find their way around. Down to Philip Groner. Alan Polimas. Barrett Polimas finding his way in the top 10, needing a rebound after the first 2 races. Has the momentum in stride, and there he goes. Polimas a spin off turn number 3, and the caution will wave once again. Seth Berger in 77 got a piece of it, and the Texas native. We'll bring the caution out, I believe, for the 8th time. It seems to be a common theme. The rear ends of these cars, you just can't stick like a next gen usually would stick. We have had a great deal of yellows in this race. And we are hearing that the overlays may have malfunctioned on our end. And that's why we did go ahead and you see all that blinking and all that jittering. So apologies on that. We were trying to go ahead and fix it in the middle of the race. Hopefully we're able to go ahead and get it fixed now. But yes, that was one of the reasons for some of the choppiness in the middle. New Hampshire, higher quality track than most on iRacing. We've had issues with New Hampshire in the past before the refresh, and I was wondering, what is that clipping? That's why I went ahead and asked you guys down in the chat below if there was anything like that. Yes, the overlays did crash when you saw Barrett Polimas frozen heading his way to pit road. And it looks like we have, if not mostly, gotten it all fixed up again. So we'll get the overlays back on board and we'll be ready to go back. Green flag racing here in just a matter of moments. You're watching the Area Cup Series on the IDK Player YouTube channel. Yes, we should have had it fixed now as they line them back up 2 by 2. iRacing's been having some issues today, as you know. The paint scheme's not on the cars, and mainly because of the trading paints error that has been going on. So, unfortunately, the system being down on there, and systems changing throughout, has sparked some issues, some challenges tonight, whether it's for the broadcast team, iRacing itself, trading paints, and even the drivers. It's been a very challenging night all around, but working lap 73, coming to lap 74. This has been New Hampshire so far here for round number 3 with the Area Cup Series. Alton 47. Cottle in 13. Let's try it again. Three wide inside, that's the 52. Pay and Howell. Off the track, into the wall, Josh Cottle. Turner, Nichols, and others. Finds Kwame Scott into the second position. Caution. Once more, Connor Horn. And check that. He was just losing spots on that. May have been Swank. Heavy damage there for Schaefer. Jonathan Evans. And yet another caution flag in this race. Let's take a peek once again. Jonathan Evans, Connor Horn. Oh, got a nice tap by the 54 machine. Caution after caution after caution. We have seen it all tonight. 11 cautions so far in this race. The record being 13 at New Hampshire. Hall and Scott, Cottle and Hall will line up 2 by 2 again. And for the ones that are just joining in, yes, cautions in area, a little bit different than what we run in e-tickets, what we run in NR Night in America. You can see multiple single car spins for yellows. And in this case, it is continuously stacked up. Some drivers went on a strategy call to see if certain calls can make things work a little bit better. See if they can go ahead and go green the rest of the way. We wonder if green flag pit stops may not happen in this race. Alden, Scott, Cottle, and Hall. Get ready to try it again. Pace car will make the hard left onto pit road. Alt in 47, Scott at 36, Cottle at 13, Hall at 03. 72 to go. Oh, Cottle, loose off exit. Jake Nichols, 3 wide, Bailey Turner. Turner getting slammed around, coming off, corner exit. 2 by 2, it continues. Kwame Scott in 2, Josh Cottle in 3rd. Trying to go for it again. Inside maneuver for the 03. Scott sitting, Scott holding in that second position. John Hall in 4th. Desperately trying to get underneath the 13 machine. Caution for the 12th time. And we'll wait for an update on who that may have been. Could have happened deeper in the field. Let's see a replay. And there it was for the 29. David Weishart. A loop and pull. We wonder if we get it back going this time. We might see the 1 to go this time by. Now, quickie yellows are a thing in area, just in case we get a caution. Oh, how about this pit strategy? The 03 coming to pit road. That's John Hall. Brandon Bowie's coming in, Ricky Springer's coming in, all these drivers coming on in. And maybe a little bit of strategy being made, despite there being so many yellows. Let's go talk with Cabot. Adam Cabot, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yeah, John, I got you.
A lot of cautions, a lot of that. Why are these drivers bidding?
Well, right now there's a whole debate of like how much tires matter with how short the runs are, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I stay out all the way into the race. It's just tough, man. It's a really, really tough setup. Personally, this is my worst track, so being in 12th at this point, I don't want to say I'm satisfied, but I just want to get out of here and survive. I've already made a couple of dumb mistakes just trying to ride here. But yeah, this has been a rough one. I don't think I've been in an area race quite like this.
Yeah, so the rear ends, are they just not sticking? What's the big uptick on that?
Yeah, it's just really easy to snap and wreck on exit. I mean, that's the biggest thing I'm struggling with, what I think a lot of people are struggling with. It's you can't, with the next gen, there's like zero feel, and then being in a sim where you literally don't have any feel of the car, it's kind of all muscle memory, just trying to get the gas down on exit, and the line between completely underdriving exit and pushing too hard and snapping and overcorrecting, causing a wreck is really thin. So that's, I think, the biggest thing that's causing issues, plus cautions, precautions. So.
All right. Do you think that's changing, or do you think it's going to be like that for the next 66 laps?
I think it's going to be like that for the next 66 laps. To bring it to you. I wish I could be more optimistic, but yeah, no, I don't see that changing.
All right, good to know. Keeping an eye on Adam Cabot there in 17. Trying it all again. It has been a lot of cautions with this race. Strategy, I think, for the most part, may now be out the door, with drivers wondering if tires will mean anything towards the end of this race, unless we get a long green flag run, opening the door for an opportunity. Dylan Hall has dominated this race. 66 laps to go, down to 65. Payne Howell to the outside of Kwame Scott. Toe to toe, down into turn 3. Josh Cottle in 13. Moved by Turner. Beckner, should I say, to the inside of Turner, to the inside of others. Still holding door to door. Couple machines roll into the grass, down off out of the racing surface. Berger, Service, Weishart. All trying to chime in and make a move. Cottle has a machine behind him, Payne Howell. You have to hear how these drivers are shifting. In and out, trying to make something roll. Howell well out of the racing groove. Josh Cottle. Runoff exit. Kwame Scott in 4th. Jake Nichols in 5th. Travis Beckner in 6th. Single file for 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 machines. See Scioli and others kind of just watching and waiting. See if there'll be a switch up, maybe a mishap. Blaze McKinney, trouble. You see it there into turn 3. Multi-car incident once again. Jonathan Evans getting a piece of it. Norton, Culberson, caution out once more. And we'll check in on a replay. I'll start with the 51 getting into Norton. And a huge stack up. Ricky Springer. Another one came barreling in late. That was Dwayne Culberson, should I say. Watch again. Man. Not the case, actually. The number 29 came barreling on in, and that was David Weishart pulling the caution out. Caution, 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 caution. We have seen it multiple times tonight, but we have a new race leader. Jake Nichols will take reign in front, should I say in center stage. Travis Beckner, Seth Knoll, with Adam Cabot, Philip Groner, Jeremy Miller. That is the top 6. As others have come to pit road, Scioli is in, Brochu is in. This strategy call to see if they can make it to the end. So Dylan Alt gives up the race lead after leading most of the laps, -2 up to this point, and it's now Jake Nichols ready to lead us to green. Toyota Chevy, Toyota Chevy. Pace car, hard left to pit road. Let's try it again. Beckner, 28, can he hold on to Nichols? Not so fast. Nichols able to pull away in his Toyota. Yoda bow tie, move to turn 3. Caution. Blaze McKinney. I believe he may have had a piece of that. If not, deeper on in the field. Gives us another. And there it is, 36, Kwame Scott. Goes up and into the outside retaining wall. Watch again. 3 wide, 4 wide, all pushing, shoving, trying to work their way around. Oh, Scott got the 87 McKinney, and pow. It has been a lot of incidents in this area race, unlike what we're used to seeing in area. Now, how many cars are left running, you may ask? Well, we still got 40 on the Speedway. Connor Okrezik, Jake Matheson, and David Weiss are the only ones out, leaving 40 drivers left racing, 37 on the lead lap. And that pace car has all the lights illuminating as it crosses the line this time by. 54 laps to go. That's what we're coming down to in the middle of this race. It has been an interesting one, no doubt about it. But maybe not in the way you've expected. We did almost lose that. We are resetting the overlays again. We do see some chop. We don't believe it is on the overlays now after doing some diagnostics, checking that it may also be on the iRacing side with this new graphics update. They have been having patches recently. New Hampshire was one of the tracks that received one of those updates, and we believe there may be a poly situation with this track. So that's why you have been seeing the clipping and the chattering, but we haven't really seen that at all in NR Night in America. We really haven't seen it at all in area so far this year. The reason we're seeing it, we believe it's because this is a brand new scan and it has been affecting at least the overall frame rate. So we'll continue to update and monitor back under green. Cabot, Miller, John Hall, Brandon Bowie, Tyler Nichols. Caution. And this one for Bailey Turner. I wonder how many times I've said caution in this stream. Obviously, every time there has been a caution, and every time we've talked about a caution. Someone's going to have to go maybe back and check that out. A lot of damage to the right side of the Bailey Turner 25. I don't think he was too fond on the Blaze McKinney machine. Watch again. Oh, Ford Martin. Watch once more. Martin getting loose off exit and coming right around. "24 times apparently I've said caution. Now you can add 25 to it. Eric W. checking in on it. Well, we have reached the 50 to go mark, in or around that. Should we say 51? Will be 50 to go this time by. And now Jake Nichols is the race leader. Beckner, Knoll, Groner, Cabot, Miller, Hall, Bowie. That is the top 8. 50 to go this time by. Let's ask you, the viewers below. We asked if this race, if Dylan Alt will win the race. 55% said no. Okay, let's ask this one. How many more cautions will we see? 50. We're going to do it 50 to go. How many cautions with 50 to go? Are we going to go caution free? 1 to 3? 4 to 7? Or do we see possibly over 8 more cautions? Let's try it all just one more time. Chevy versus Toyota, 49 to go. Three wide middle, deeper in the field. Knoll on the bottom. Beckner on the outside, chasing Jake Nichols. Caution. Hayden Swank. Hayden Swank going around down the backstretch, bringing multiple drivers with him. And actually doesn't start with that, starts with Yonashinu. And then Swank came into it and backed it into the inside retaining wall. I believe that is the 16th caution of the race, breaking the 13. That was the original record. And I asked how many cautions we will see. One person said we would go caution free with 50 to go. And everyone else is saying 4 to 7. We're currently at 16. That's one on the board. Here at the Area Cup Series. Tune in next week. We'll be at Indianapolis. The setup, we do expect it to be more on the stiffer side, and we always see great racing at Indianapolis no matter what we're rolling with there. Going to be exciting. Let's go ahead and have some trivia. Everyone loves a little bit of trivia. How about personal trivia? No, I think I've already said that trivia. I was going to say the tracks that I've called races at. What are the oldest operating racetracks that I've called events at? Where do they line up? There's two of them, and Milwaukee being the oldest, called a race there, and Indianapolis being third. Have not called a race there, but have attended a Brickyard 400, and the second being National Fairgrounds Speedway. Multiple races called at that facility. Rack 'em, stack 'em, shuffle 'em. Let's see it again. They'll be 2 by 2 as they work their way down the backstretch and into 3 and 4. This is what you've come to see. Maybe a Jake Nichols win, maybe a Seth Knoll win, Solar Flare and others. Pace car, hard left. Once more, 45 laps remaining. Oh, Beckner gets into Nichols, rolling into turn 1. Contact again, Chevy to Toyota. Nichols in third, Groner in fourth. Miller, Cabot, John Hall. 3 wide, Hall in the middle. Try to shove the 17 up the speedway. Nolan to the bottom. That's a Beckner at 28. Jeremy Miller will be right on board with him. They're trying to chase down Jake Nichols. Listen to the car. Look how much they're trying to fight. Every corner of every lap. This setup has been so difficult, so treacherous for the drivers. Just when you get to hear it, you can kind of start understanding what they're battling against. This is not the same setup that we brought with the next gen to enter Night in America, if I'm not mistaken. This fixed setup is a custom setup, and it's definitely built more on the loose side. Two Toyotas, Solar Flare, 1-2, the drafty car machines. Miller underneath, Hall, oh, check that, Hall underneath Miller, gives him the bumper, and Dylan Hall is able to muscle his way back inside the top three. .41 to go. And check that, this is the iRacing default setup, not a custom setup, but it is fixed setups. Nonetheless, so yes, this is the iRacing setup. There are some leagues that do put some custom setups out there. Night in America, with the e-tickets, we sometimes make custom setups for the fixed races that we do. iRacing default setup. Here with the next gen, putting on a great bit of a challenge. There's Connor Horn in the middle. Scioli dropping back. Polimas on the outside, 3 wide with Bowie. Cottle trying to make his way through. Polimas, not really much room to work with. Gets in the side, 39 to go, and I believe Josh Cottle may be dropping back. Another slide out of Bowie in 54. Can Dylan Hall chase down Jake Nichols? Listen in. Caution on the Speedway. It is for an incident deeper in the field, we believe, once more. Maybe that of Kwame Scott. We'll go ahead and check and take a look at it. 3 wide Cottle, Bowie, Horn. Cottle got loose, Bowie got loose. And we look for the spin. Was it that a max service? We see the smoke. We believe it's actually Edward Shear Jr. Getting turned off the nose at Cosman Yonashinu. Yonashinu been involved in at least 3 or 4 cautions tonight. Not the highest of highs for him. Alt versus Nichols. That's what's pending with the restart coming in. And what a wild race it has been nonetheless for these restarts. 37 laps to go. Want to say thank you to everyone that's been tuning in and watching here live on the IDK Player YouTube channel. We haven't had a consistent flow at all during this race, but at the same time, it seems to be sparking up something interesting towards the tail end of the running. And well, here we are, 37 to go. You got Alt, who's led a good bit of the race, more than half of it, actually, should we say, before the halfway mark, versus Nichols now in 73. That's going to be looking for his first win this season. Alt versus Nichols, Knoll versus Hall. This is the Area Cup Series as we get ready for yet another restart. 2 by 2, they work their way down the backstretch as we get ready to roll just once more. Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet, they're all cycled and blended into this field. The late night hours, it is 10:37 on the East Coast, 9:37 Central. As we all get ready to watch one more time. Central Mobile Homes, you have seen their sponsor all over the place. Looking for a small or large home, a new shed or a triple crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and triple crown trailers available in most of the Central Florida region. Check out centralmobilehomeinc.com. Back underway, 35 laps to go. Jake Nichols able to go away. The question will be for how long, because if Noel or Alt get cleared once sideways and up and into the outside wall, it's Jeremy Miller. Caution out again. And just backed it into the outside wall. Looks like he had help. Oh my goodness, and a whole lot of it too. From the 11 and Jacob Groner. Sent it on in and just did not lift. Caution out again in this race. I believe that's 19. If not 19, 18, maybe 17. It's close. Nonetheless, close to that mark. As we'll get an opportunity to really try this all again. And a lot of opportunities to go ahead and try it again. I keep saying that word, but let alone we've had a good bit of cautions. I think this has actually broken the record for most cautions that we have seen with an e-ticket event in NR Night in America, and let alone a race in NR Night in America. The most cautions possibly for any race on the IDK Player YouTube channel. As these drivers will gear up for now another restart. This with 33 laps to go. Now with Homestead, we got a caution right away. But then again, they were almost like spread out. They were spread out in a way that you really didn't worry about if there was going to be another one. And if there was, it was going to be, okay, how do we strategize? How do we build off of it? And tonight, it's really been about track position. If you're going to have a caution, hopefully you're not getting swept up in it. And by the time the caution does come out, hopefully things are rolling in a way that's not impending anything big for you. How about that Ford Mustang pace car? What a great job it has done. Hanging out with us, doing great pace laps. You know, let's go ahead and do this. What's great about this is a little bit of science. Connor O'Kresick, when did he leave this race? Lap 47. There is a good chance, and I would love to know if someone in the live chat can do this. Check how many times that pace car has made laps around this track as the pace car passed Connor O'Kresick in this race. 31 laps to go. Nichols will get the run off turn 2, swipes the bow of Dylan Alt, and Alt can maybe size something up to turn 3, just a little too far back. He's going to roll center, doesn't have to put all the chips in the middle this lap. 31 laps to go. All closing the gap. He's looking, he's peeking. I just don't think he can make the lunge. The difference between Alt and Nichols is Nichols, the defensive line, drives it in deep, wanting to keep that 47 from making a run. Caution is out again, while Alt on the different end. He gives up all that room on entry, gets a runoff exit. And that's where if we see a run to the finish, we could see something interesting. Let's take a peek and see what exactly occurred. Oh, the 13 and Bro Shoe in 98. Josh Cottle going for a slide. Watch again. And nothing there really probably could have been done there. 28 laps to go. Pit road, it's wide open. Some coming in, others elected to stay out. And the opportunity for yet another restart comes alive. Nichols versus Alt. The patience has been maybe troublesome for some of these drivers with what's been going on and how this has been. The viewers keeping track of how many cautions we've had. Well over 16. We very much know that, but with 27 laps to go. And watch, we talk about this in NR Night, too, for the NR Night American viewers. We'll have a race. We'll get 16 or 17 cautions. You may say, didn't we have like 43 that started the race? How do we just get down to like 25? And all of a sudden you realize the admin kicked about 7. And then the next race comes, it's the same drivers, and we go caution free. And it's like, how did that happen? It's just sometimes how things go. Racing is unpredictable. You can have a caution-free race like you had in race number 1. You can have the caution flag be displayed consistently every 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 laps by week 3. We'll get ready to go again. We're going to keep an eye on time just in case there is an issue with the over amount of time left in the race. Don't believe that is right on the left side, but we'll keep it in mind. 26 to go. Dylan Alt, 47. Seth Nolan, the 1. Beckner, 4th position, a shot him behind. Top 2, nose to tail, Noel Beckner. John Hall to the inside. All underneath. Nichols is there. Holds onto him, draws even to 1 and 2. The fight for the lead could also be the fight for the win. Nichols continues to try to grab that quarter panel. Loose, outside wall, turn 4, battle again to turn 1. All in the middle. Nichols trying a switchback. Long way around, trying to launch off exit. That's all Nichols can do right now versus all stuck in the draft. Caution is out. And you see the incident, Seth Berger finding his way into the outside retaining wall. And we will try it. I've been saying try it again. We will once again have a hand out of restart. How about that? Does that change the pace up a little bit? Berger 77.52 underneath. That's Howell. Nothing to do with it. I just saw Josh Connell get hooked by Brochu. May have been a little bit of payback. And then we saw the 77 of Seth Berger find the outside retaining wall. Watch again. Really just got hooked from behind. Pit road open, drivers coming in, changing things up, and with 21 laps to go, Dylan All says, well, we restart, maybe 19 to go, maybe 18 to go. That's what's left, but if we get a couple restarts, who gets overly aggressive? You may be saying, oh, these cautions, it's because of guys that are over aggressive. No, it's been because of the rear tires struggling for some guys to get it going. At the same time, we haven't seen a lot of cautions for the over aggression, and now we wonder if it's going to be coming within the next handful of minutes. Toyota on the outside, Chevrolet on the bottom. What to do if you're Knoll, if you're Hall. All the drivers looking just for an opportunity to go to victory lane in the late night hours. The Magic Mile has brought us a ton of cautions, but a winner yet to be decided. 20 to go, will be 19 to go as we restart them here. Chevy versus Toyota. Not a Ford inside, up within the top 20. Let's go green once more. Dylan Alt pulling away. Jake Nichols there in second. John Hall up there in fourth. Beckner watching and waiting on to the fifth position. Knowles got the inside lane covered. Hall the outside. Can John Hall make it back to back and go from underdog to rookie to veteran with a move just within the first three races? Or can Dylan All pull away and become the third different winner of 2025? fourth. Connor Horn in fifth. Scioli, Beckner. Oh, trouble, and a huge hit to the outside wall. That may have been the 25 of Bailey Turner. Your Area 500 winner just got the right side, lifted off the ground, and will bring the caution out with 16 to go. What a hit, what a lick. Man, and he ate that one a ton. Watch back, Bailey Turner in 25. This is towards turns 1 and 2. Lost the rear end. Bam! Nowhere for Bowie to go. Howell great on the brakes. But man, oh man, as the nose of that 25 junked up. Watch again. Boom, loses all rear end grip. It's been a common theme tonight. I thought we were about to see one go over at the Magic Mile. Let's see it. And the caution will come out yet again. 14 to go. Alt, Nichols, Hall, Knoll, Horn, Scioli, Beckner, Cabot, Miller, Springer, Bell, Brochu, Barroso, and Yonashinu make up the top 14. Senesac, Robertson, Schaefer, Howell, Culberson, and Polimas make up the top 20. I want to point out that will be a future, for the viewers hanging out with us tonight, a future trivia question. Which race had the most cautions ever broadcasted on this YouTube channel? And right now, it was not Enter Night, it was not an e-ticket. Surprisingly, it was this race, the Area Cup Series at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We've had 16 cautions, 18 cautions, including e-tickets. We'll get up to sometimes to 16 cautions, and sometimes we'll have e-tickets where we have 1 caution. We've had 2 e-tickets with just 1 caution. That's a trivia question for Darlington next week, if you already know it. But yeah, these are great drivers. I would not be surprised when we go racing at Indianapolis next week. Maybe 1, maybe 2 cautions at that. It will just blow your mind how quickly the pendulums can swing back and forth. 12 laps to go from New Hampshire. 4 wide looking, that's Miller in 30. Hall, contact with Knoll. Knoll inches into the wall. Four wide for Cabot in 17. Everyone trying to net gain in the closing moments. Caution. We'll slow him down once more, and I believe could be an incident. Deep in the field, Seth Berger. Hefty amount of damage. Ryan Swan and the Rick's Hot Sauce Toyota Camry. Banged up. Let's see it. Had a blink out there actually for a moment. Pow. See it again. One more look. Just couldn't get the car to rotate. So Swan will go to pit road. How many laps have these drivers led? Let's look at it. Dylan Ott 103 so far of 41. Jake Nichols 36 of the 141. Connor Horn has yet to touch the lead, should we say lead a lap? And we have 9 laps to go. Restarting with 8. Opportunity on the line for anyone to get really bold deep in the field. But also Dylan Alt would like to secure a finish, let alone secure a win. After leading most of this race, the question is now with all the drivers stacking back up 2 by 2 is can he do it? Alt in 47, you've seen that machine stuck to the bottom of the racetrack on these restarts a good amount. Nichols on the outside in 73, ready to duel once more. 8 to go for the Magic Mile. Two by two, second and third, Nichols and Horn. Sam Brochu. Sam trying to make a move. Yonashinu. Josh Connell icing his way through. Six to go. Incident deep in the field. Caution once more. And it may size up actually either a green-white checker or something close to that. Wasn't Ryan Swan, but it was that a Reese Schaefer. A lazy spin bringing the caution out again. So Schaefer, a lazy spin, sizes up yet another restart in this race. Horn, Alt, Hall, Nichols, Scioli, Miller, Beckner, and Springer are all up inside the top 8. That caution gives them yet another chance at a restart. The opinions of many will continue to fly on how this race has gone, let alone we're getting ready to see who's going to win it. Opinions aside, someone is going to victory lane. And it's going to be anyone that's left racing, maybe the 3 Chevrolets up front. We've seen Alt. Right now, Alt looks like the surefire shot, right? You would expect Dylan Alt to go to victory lane. But this is the Magic Mile. We've seen some magical moments this year. And hey now, Connor Horn, I would consider Connor Horn an underdog, is sitting right there in the 3rd position. And he's looking to do one thing, win this race. Nichols has dropped back to 4th, one of the solar flare guys. He's got Scioli there in 5th. Scioli's actually had a really good opening to this season. Miller, Beckner, I don't think Beckner is going to be able to get up there. He's just been really struggling with rear end grip this entire race. 3-lap shootout. That's what we're down to. That's what we're waiting on. And that's what we're ready to see. With how this is all come and gone. Horn to the outside, Alt to his inside. And with 3 laps to go, we get ready to do it again. Alt versus Horn, Hall versus Nichols, Scioli versus Miller, Beckner versus Springer. Top 8, roll back off turn 4. Let's do it again. Alt to drive in deep, trying to secure it. Spinning deeper in the field. Single car incident, won't keep it green. Caution out again. Tyler Nichols. Goes around deeper in the field, and it will bring out that caution. A single car spin yet again. Oh no, check that. It was actually in a Sogak in 88. And then we saw Nichols get tapped, came to a stop. So Anna Sogak got sent. It could have been Jonathan Evans in 26, and it was. Now, if you see the left side of my screen, or should I say even your screen, we've been checking the time limit on this race. I'm not sure if that is consistent with what is actually in the event, or if that's just something that's going to be refreshed. So we have been checking a little bit back and forth to see how that has gone, and I believe that is inconsistent just because you see that it continues to reset. So I know I saw some in the chat questioning if that time limit was correct, but no, it doesn't seem so. It seems like that time limit may just be a little bit faulty, but we do have 2 laps to go, let alone another overtime finish. Let's try again. Lights off of the pace car. Alt 47, Hall 03. 2 Chevrolets lined up 2 by 2. With a Chevy bow tie lineup in row 2. Chevy bow tie lineup in row 3. When they get to the start-finish line, the race is official. That if they complete a full lap. So with that being said, watch this restart. And watch how this thing rolls. Incident deeper in the field. could spark an issue. Sliding goes to 73 and Nichols back underway. Three wide, four wide. You see Miller trying to make a move. You see Polimas trying to make a move. Multiple drivers to the bottom side of the racetrack. Dylan Alt just needs to reach the finish line here to get the one to go. To make this race official, he'll do so. Salamanca, one to go from New Hampshire. Yonashino around off turn 4. And who's in the catbird scene? It's John Hall. Made some magic in Homestead with a breakout win. Can he go back to back? Final lunge to turn 3. Too far back, 3 different winners in 3 different races. Dylan Alt gets it done from New Hampshire. Horn comes 3rd, Scioli comes 4th, Beckner, Springer, Miller, and others all across the start-finish. And Dylan Alt will punch his ticket to the area playoffs. League Night in America, feeling victories all year long. We know he's seen some chattering out of the stream. Apologies on that. And we look to have that fixed definitely by next week, let alone tomorrow. We believe it may have been a bug with the New Hampshire. Also, we did find out that there's been some latency issues recently with iRacing and Trading Paints having their issues as well, let alone the checkered flag came up and you were watching it. Dylan Alt, after dominating Homestead, did not come up with a win there. Dominates New Hampshire and says thank you very much. Going to victory lane and a playoff driver in 2025. Let's talk to race winner. Well, it was attrition. It needed patience for yourself, seeing the color yellow displayed multiple times. Dylan Alt, the checkered flag then came out. You went to victory lane. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I honestly didn't expect myself to get to the field after I pit on lap 91. I didn't expect that there was going to be that many cautions. It was, like I told you before the race started, that it was going to be a wreck fest, but I didn't expect it to be that bad. But
you did.
Yeah,
you told me that. You said this was going to be something like that. And usually when we hear drivers say that, I'm just going to pull back the curtain. Drivers aren't known for saying, oh, this is going to be wild. There's going to be a lot of cautions. I don't know if we're going to get any green flag runs in. Usually everyone blows that off like, okay, yeah, he's over-exaggerating.
Yeah.
You were spot on, and you just said you didn't expect it to be like this.
I feel like the setup made it very hard for people to actually drive off the corner. Like through the center of the corner, you would kind of feel that grip come alive, and then once you get off the corner, that grip just goes away. So people get like false sense of hope through the corner. So I feel like that was the main cause of everyone's mistakes. But yeah, I kind of just got lucky. Going through the field, avoiding all the wrecks, kind of just pushed as hard as I possibly could to go through the field without really wrecking anybody. I know I made that bottom in 1 and 2 work a little bit, and even the apron in 3 and 4. I was trying that a lot in practice, and it worked out great. So yeah,
Worked out fantastically. That's not even a word, but hey, at the end of the day, it has a great meaning to it. Worked out amazing for you. A couple drivers behind. You knew Hall was possibly going to get bold, but he didn't full on send it in there. Respect on that deal for the rookie.
Yeah, John was my teammate for a solid rock performance, so it was a good 1 and 2 because we got a 1 and 2 last race too. So yeah, I honestly expected it to send the bottom in the apron in 3 and 4 and try to get something off of turn 4 to the run of the line, but I think he just wanted to get a good 1 and 2 for the team. So yeah.
Congratulations on your win. What do you want to say to the viewers that stuck around?
Honestly, you guys are loyal. I wouldn't have stuck around, honestly, if I was a viewer. But
No,
yeah.
they care. And you know what's going to happen? I'm telling you, I'm going to place my bets. We're barely going to have any cautions at Indianapolis. It's just going to be that way.
Yeah. Indy's going to be a draft fest. I hope that other people can be patient enough and stay in line and work together, but we'll see what happens.
Do want to point out this was an iRacing setup, not an area custom setup. And earlier, I was told that sometimes custom setups are made for this. Wondered if that was the case. No, the drive off really put a wrench in a lot of drivers' plans. You weren't able to get strategy rolling, but for you, Dylan Alt, you made your way through the field. Not the first time you've won on this channel. I don't expect it to be the last. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Let's go ahead and roll through the running order. John Hall, second week in a row, we're speaking with you. You were victor at Homestead. You're a bridesmaid in New Hampshire, but still a solid first 3 races for yourself. Really getting a nice stride. As long as you don't peak too early before the playoffs, you are an early contender.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. It was a super good night for the Loop Tech Chevy here for SRP. Didn't have the greatest qualifying showing, and I was kind of just holding on for dear life there until we got into the pit stops there with all the cautions coming. Just tried to position myself in the best place I could there at the end. Didn't really feel the fastest in the field. I think Dylan had us all covered on that front, but yeah, no, we're feeling good. Happy to keep going with SRP here and swapping positions from last week. So
what more did you need? And that's a question I commonly ask when, you know, you get a long green flag run. Maybe you made a mistake. Could you have done anything with how almost lottery-like this finish was?
I mean, I guess I could have shipped Dylan there in 3 and 4, but that one went over too well, and I was more than happy to finish second there, just for the way the race had gone. I didn't want to add to the chaos, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I could have had some. I would have been really good on the long runs, a lot better, but we didn't have any of those tonight, so kind of just playing the strategy as best I could there.
All right, congratulations, P2. Really good season early on for you. Mr. John Hall will continue to update and monitor his situations. Maybe he is that lucky favorite. Maybe he is someone that could stride right when it means the most in the playoffs. But for you, Connor Horn, podium, P3, congratulations.
Thank you. I'll take it. Obviously, it was a wild race, to say the least. I guess I'll leave it at that. It actually felt much, much better than it did while testing and in practice. You got more rubber on the track. It just seemed like the track started to tighten up. The track probably was cooling down a little bit as well since it was late in the day. I think we started like maybe 120. It's down to like 90 now. So I think that plus just getting rubber on the track tightened things up, and I took tires probably with like 60 to go, and I guess I hit the sweet spot. Me, Skyoli, a few others were able to charge through up there, and more importantly than anything, we were able to avoid some crashes and definitely helped me get some track position there. I restarted the third to last restart behind Dylan and got a really good jump. Just had to dispatch the 73. I knew I was faster than him. I definitely bet him the right rear, but it is what it is. You know, I was going to do that to anyone, not just him. I had to get him, and I figured if I could just get that same launch again on the outside, I could have a shot at Dylan's bumper on a restart into 3 on the final lap. I just didn't get the launches on the last 2 restarts I needed, and yeah, it was definitely interesting. Travis hit me a couple times. I don't know what that was for, but it was fun battling through there. For the most part, there was a lot of yellow, so it was as much fun as it could have been, but I don't know. I didn't feel like I had speed a lot coming in this race, so I would definitely take a 3rd place finish.
Definitely, indeed. Now, how does this maybe look you forward to the next couple of races? You're heading to Indianapolis. Does this help a little bit of confidence, knowing that, hey, when others make mistakes, you can go ahead and net gain from it? Or, you know, how does this make you feel before the playoffs kick off? And we're talking about playoffs pretty early. I know that.
Yeah.
But you got a good finish. At the end of the day, it's going to help you with the points.
No, and I definitely feel like the more I ran that race, if it went green, I felt like I had a top 10 car. Maybe not a 3rd place car. It was really hard to pass without the tire advantage, but I felt like I had borderline top 5 speed. So the last 2 weeks, I've been calling myself washed because I've been pretty disgusted with how I've been running, especially last week at Homestead. Besides the Pro Series race on Thursdays, I had no speed in Cup, which is the one I'm running full time, and I had no speed in the truck on Tuesday, which was pretty upsetting. But I definitely felt like I had speed here, and it was funny. Like I said, coming into tonight, I was was losing my mind because I felt like I was going to run 30th, and thankfully that wasn't the case. So for a track I don't necessarily enjoy driving, and I don't think I've driven this in a race in probably 3-4 years before tonight. So I'm definitely happy with the pace I showed, definitely happy to get the points finish I needed because I was pretty far behind after the first 2 races. And yeah, I think I'm much better in Indy than I am here, so that gives in Miami, so it gives me a bunch more confidence as well going to a track. I know I'll run top 5 on speed, or at least I'll have top 5 speed at, and I'm expecting to hopefully run up front there. But definitely hoping for a green race. That race went very green last year, and Indy can have some fuel runs happen as well. So pretty excited about the finish and going into Indy and trying to build momentum and speed for the playoffs. And I hope to be able to go into playoffs with Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner, Jeremy Miller on my side. They all had great runs. Some of them didn't get the luck they needed, but Jeremy had a great 7th place finish. So thankful for him as well. Good team points. Thankful to Matthew Tomaleri for sponsoring our cars at 609 Motorsports, and everyone that drives for us on Tuesday and Thursday. Happy to have them as well, but just glad to get out of here surviving for sure and have some momentum.
Congratulations on that. Connor Horn finishing P3 here at New Hampshire. Let's go ahead and look at the finishing results. Before we close out the night, Dylan Hall finds his first win of 2025. John Hall, Connor Horn, James Scully, Travis Beckner, Ricky Springer, Jeremy Miller ending up that top 7. Peyton Howell, Josh Connell, Seth Knoll running out the top 10. Matthew Bell, Adam Cabot, Sam Brochu, Frankie Barroso, Bryce Senesac, Jonathan Evans, Hayden Swing, Jake Nichols, Garrett Grant with Ed Robertson, that top 20. Pierce, McKenney, Bowie with Service and Shear, top 25. Lee Norton, Turner, Swan, and Sogak and Nichols fighting their weight in the top 30. We had the most DNFs in this race than ever, or should I'm going to say ever, excuse me, most DNFs in this race than in any race this season up to this point. Schaefer, Polimis, Culberson, last drivers to finish on the lead lap before Yonashino and Berger finished either 1 or 12 laps down. Scott, Groner, Punkari, Moose, Martin, and in the final 3 of Weishart, Matheson, Okrezik finishing outside of the racetrack, a DNF for those drivers. Next week, we head to Indianapolis, where you viewers can go ahead and watch the Area Cup Series with round number 4. After Indianapolis will be the Southern 500, a part of the 28th e-ticket event. That will also be next Tuesday. So back-to-back streams once more, Monday and Tuesday next week. We do have NR Night in America live tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We hope to see you there for some more great racing action here on the IDK Player YouTube channel. You guys have a great rest of your night as this